I spent 10 years building my father's retail empire, 70-hour weeks, no vacations. He fired me. Your brother does it better. Broke. I went to close my childhood savings. It had $200 in 2005. The teller went pale. Sir, this account has an automatic stock purchase plan attached to it from 20 years ago. She printed the statement. What I saw made my knees buckle, but the stock company name made me realize my parents knew something I didn't. My name is Sean. I'm 33, oldest son, the reliable one. I'm the kid who learned inventory before algebra. I grew up in the back rooms of my father's retail chain, flapping price tags, dust, the hum of ancient fluorescence. I became a financial analyst because spreadsheets made more sense than my family. Numbers don't move the goalposts mid-game. At 7:04 a.m. on a Tuesday, I was in store number 1, the flagship. Coffee went cold on a stack of invoices. End of quarter push. Payroll tight. Vendors cranky. I'd slept maybe 3 hours. Dad walked in with my brother, Liam. Dad kept his coat on like he wasn't staying long. Liam had that grin he saves for when a ball is rolling downhill, and I'm at the bottom. Morning, I said. I've updated the cash flow. We need to delay the flooring project a month. Dad didn't look at the report. He looked at my shirt like it offended him. You always have a reason to stop things, he said. I have reasons grounded in math, I said, trying to keep my voice even. He waved at Liam. Your brother gets it done. You drag. You nitpick. You make people nervous. I felt my jaw tighten. I keep us inside the bank covenants. Nervous is better than bankrupt. Dad stepped closer, smiling like a manager in a training video. Sean, he said, you've had your chance. Liam folded his arms. We're going for a growth mindset, man. You're not a growth guy. I heard the forklift beep behind me. I smelled the citrus cleaner from last night's mop. Small details get loud when someone is about to hit you with something big. Dad finally said it. You're done. As of today. I laughed. Stupid reflex. Very funny. He didn't blink. Turn in your keys. I stared at him. 10 years. 70-hour weeks. No vacations because what if a truck is late? Sundays in the office while my friends sent beach photos. It sounded like bragging until it turned out I'd only been building a door they planned to shut in my face. Why? I asked, even though I knew. Your brother does it better, Dad said. He's our future. The words landed heavy and cheap at the same time. Liam rolled a coin across his knuckles like a magician who forgot the trick. Wow, I said. It came out thin. So that's it. Dad nodded at the manager's office. Keys, laptop, passcode. Don't make this personal. Right? I said, and the laugh came again, sharp and wrong. It's just business when it's me. He stared past me at a crooked shelf label. Fix that, he told the clerk, not me. Then to me, quieter. You'll thank me later. I didn't throw anything. I didn't plead. I handed over the keys. On my way out, Liam clapped my shoulder like we were teammates. Hey, he said, lowering his voice. You can still help, you know. Just from the outside. I looked at him. You mean free? He smirked. Family rate. I stepped into the parking lot. It was too bright. The air felt thin. My phone buzzed, Mom. I let it go to voicemail. I already knew the script. Be a man, be supportive, be quiet. I sat in my car and stared at the cracked steering wheel. I'm the analyst. I run scenarios. I didn't have one for this. That evening, they added me to the family group chat again like a courtesy. Mom led with her line, the one that always finds the bruise. Don't be dramatic, Sean, she wrote. Your brother needs this. You'll land on your feet. I typed then stopped. My hands shook. I put the phone face down on the table, listened to the neighbor's TV through the wall, and told myself to breathe. I didn't stumble into my father's company. I was drafted at 12. Summers meant counting boxes and watching which vendors got a handshake and which got the tight smile. I learned to tell, if Dad said, we'll circle back, he was never calling them again. After college, when my classmates posted photos with badges from places with glass and kombucha, I went back to the stockroom with a tie and a promise. Do 5 years with us, Dad said. Then you can do anything. I didn't ask what anything meant. I wanted to be the son who showed up. 5 years became 10. 70-hour weeks, no vacations. We can't have leadership disappear in Q3, he'd say, or Q4, or during inventory, or during renovation season. There was always a season. I built models, cleaned up books, renegotiated supplier terms. I kept us out of the red with a mix of discipline and miracles. Dad took the credit with donors and bankers. My boys, he'd say at events, pulling Liam beside him for symmetry. Couldn't do it without them. Then our pay would be delayed 2 weeks because a big check is coming. It always arrived one day after I stopped sleeping. Liam? He loved ribbon cuttings, and team photos. He'd float into meetings late, spill ideas like glitter, then vanish before the cleanup. If a vendor called him, he'd say, "Loop Sean." If a store had shrink, he'd say, "Ask Sean." If we got a win, he'd say we. If we got a loss, he'd say my name. At home, Mom narrated it like a sermon. "You know your brother's a natural leader," she'd say, passing me a bowl at Sunday dinner I hadn't had time to attend in 3 months. "You're the smart one. He's the closer. Teams need both." Her smile meant stop arguing. I paid for things. Quietly. Liam's first apartment deposit. A dentist bill he forgot about. A marketing consultant Dad couldn't justify that actually saved us from a disastrous rebrand. When I brought receipts, Dad would squeeze my shoulder. "You're invaluable," he'd say. "We'll make you whole." That phrase started to mean nothing. There were small betrayals that felt like pranks and big ones that felt like funerals. "My PTO? We're family," Dad said. "We don't clock in on love." The bonus pool that vanished because of unexpected legal fees. The time a new regional manager started, Liam's friend, and I found out he made 20% more than me while I trained him. The group chat was the main stage. When we landed a bulk deal with a national brand, I posted a short paragraph explaining the margin, the break-even date, the risk. Liam replied with 5 flame emojis. Mom replied, "See? When you support your brother's ideas, amazing things happen." I reread the thread at 1 a.m., trying to find the part where anyone read my words. Then came this small thing that wasn't small. Dad wanted a second line of credit in the company's name with me as guarantor because my score was cleaner. He said it at dinner like asking for salt. "Just sign," he said. "We'll refinance in 6 months." "No," I said. It was a small word. Dad's face closed like a store after hours. Mom went quiet. Liam laughed. "He's being dramatic," he told her. I didn't sign. 2 weeks later, my key card stopped working at HQ for an hour due to the system. IT said it was a glitch. My stomach said it wasn't. The next month, Dad forgot to loop me into vendor negotiations I'd initiated. I found out from a calendar screenshot Liam posted to Instagram, "Stack day." When I asked, Dad said, "We can't funnel everything through you." I started to pack my desk in my head even before they asked for the keys. When Dad fired me that morning, it wasn't the first cut. It was the last one I still felt. I spent the next 48 hours in the weird fog where you move, but your brain is on delay. I updated my resume. I canceled auto pay on my donation to the Employee Relief Fund because I was now the employee in need of relief. I counted the money in my checking account 3 times. It didn't change. Rent was due in 9 days. Severance? "We don't do formal severance," Mom texted. "Your family." Liam sent a thumbs-up emoji like a toddler handing me a Band-Aid for a broken arm. I sold an old laptop, some camera gear, shoes I wore twice. I ate cereal with water because I was out of milk and out of pride. I didn't call friends because I was tired of explaining my family like a puzzle with missing pieces. Mom called the 3rd night. "Your father is hurt," she said. "He needed you to be mature about this. Liam is stepping up in a way we've never seen." "Because he has me out of the way," I said. She exhaled hard. "You're making it ugly." "It was ugly when you asked me to co-sign debt," I said. "Don't weaponize family," she snapped and hung up. The next morning, I did the thing I swore I wouldn't do. I drove to the bank where I'd opened my first savings account as a kid. It had $200 when I was 13, money from mowing lawns and sweeping warehouses. I kept it open out of nostalgia and laziness. Maybe there was $212 now. Maybe I could close it, add it to the pile, by time. I took a number. I stared at the poster about building your future. A teller called me up with a practiced smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Hi," I said. "I want to close an old savings account. It's under my name since I was a kid." "Of course," she said, typing. "ID, please." I slid it over. She typed more, then frowned. Her fingers slowed. "Everything okay?" I asked. She looked at the screen, then at me. The smile was gone. "Sir," she said quietly, "this account has an automatic stock purchase plan attached to it." From? She squinted at the date. 20 years ago. I blinked. "What?" "No, this is just a savings account." She shook her head, already printing. "It's linked. Through the transfer agent. I need to get a supervisor." "Okay," I said, even though nothing felt okay. She handed me the first page. I recognized my name, my childhood address, and then a company name that smelled like my childhood in a way numbers can't. I stared at it. The air thinned again. My knees went soft. The company was printed in bold at the top of the statement. And the name told me my parents knew something I didn't. Before the teller came back, my phone lit up with the family chat. Liam had posted a photo. Him in Dad's chair at HQ. Feet up, Caption Day 1. Mom added, proud of both my boys. No one laughed. I turned the phone face down. The supervisor arrived, crisp suit, careful tone. Mr. Klein, she said. It seems that in 2005 an automatic dividend reinvestment plan was initiated from your savings to a registered transfer agent. It's a direct stock purchase plan. It's been reinvesting quarterly since then. I swallowed. Who set that up? It lists a custodian, your mother, until you turned 18. After that, the plan remained in your name. I stared at the company name again. Harbor and Hearth Brands. H&H was the conglomerate that had quietly taken minority stakes in mid-market retailers and distributors for 2 decades. Dad hated them in public, called them parasites in meetings. He'd throw their catalog in the trash and tell us to buy local, then later pick through the trash and tuck the catalog into his briefcase. I chalked it up to mixed feelings. Balance? I asked. The supervisor typed, printed. She slid a stapled stack to me. I scanned the totals. The number made my mouth go dry. Reinvented dividends over 20 years. Splits. 2 spin-offs. A special dividend during the pandemic. The kind of patient compounding I preached and never got to practice because there was always another fire. I didn't say the number out loud. I didn't trust my voice. Do you want to keep the plan or transfer? She asked. Keep. I said too quickly. Please keep everything as is. And I'd like to set up online access. Of course. I stepped outside with a folder that felt heavier than paper. On the sidewalk, I sat and put my head between my knees. I should have felt relief. What I felt was heat, anger that fizzed in my ears. My parents had set this up. They'd known. They watched me hand over bonus after bonus to fix holes in the company while they watched this grow in silence. Why? Control? A test? A future reveal where they'd parachute in as saviors? Or something messier? Dad using my clean SSN to park shares he didn't want traced? I didn't know. But I knew one thing. I was done being their spreadsheet. That night I scrolled through old emails. In 2017, Mom had sent a 1-line note. Need you to sign this bank document. Just housekeeping. I'd sign without reading because it was 2 a.m. and the freezer at store number 9 had died, and that felt urgent. The PDF was right there in my archive. I opened it. Transfer agent authorization. Custodian removal. I felt stupid and 19 again. I didn't sleep. I prepared. Not revenge. Boundaries with receipts. The next day, I asked to meet at the shopping center office. I brought printouts, highlighted tabs, and a calm I didn't feel. Dad sat at the head of the table. Liam swiveled. Mom brought muffins like we were a brunch club. Make it quick, Dad said. We've got a distributor call. I placed the first stack on the table. 10 years of unpaid overtime and delayed reimbursements. Here are the expenses I covered personally for the company. Totals highlighted. Here are pay stubs compared to posted ranges for my role in the market. This is the gap. Liam rolled his eyes. Here we go. I put down the second stack. And here is a plan opened in my name in 2005. A direct stock purchase plan for Harbor and Hearth Brands. Custodian, Mom. Transfer to me. At 18. I looked at them. You knew. Dad didn't blink. Mom didn't breathe. Liam laughed too loudly and stopped when no one joined. Mom recovered first. That was a gift, she said quickly. We forgot to tell you. For 20 years? I asked. Dad's voice went low. Lower your tone. I kept it flat. I'm not asking for anything from you. I'm telling you how this goes from now on. I will not co-sign debt. I will not work for free. I will not be your cushion for bad bets. Any money you say I owe is settled. If you bring my name to a bank again, I will involve a lawyer. Liam leaned forward. You're acting like we stole from you. I slid the final page across the table. It was a screenshot of the family chat comments over the last 2 years where they'd asked me to help the family and called me ungrateful when I asked for repayment plans. Facts. Dates. Their own words. Mom's voice sharpened. You're turning on us? After everything we did for you? You worked me for 10 years, I said. I did it because I believed in us. You fired me because it was convenient. That belief is over. Dad stood. Get out. I stood too. Gladly. He pointed at the folder in my hand. Leave that. It's company property. I held his eyes. It's mine. Outside, my hands shook again, but for a different reason. A line had been crossed, and this time I wasn't the one who'd be dragged back over it. The fallout started within hours, like weather. Family chat lit up. Mom led with the hymn. Sean is confused. He's been under stress. We will forgive him when he apologizes. Relatives chimed in with their favorite chorus lines. Family is hard. Businesses are stressful. Your father has a lot on his plate. I didn't answer. I turned notifications off and opened a new thread with myself called Receipts. Every time I wanted to reply, I dumped the paragraph there instead. It was cleaner that way. It kept me from writing something that would feel good for 30 seconds and hurt for 30 months. Then came the private messages. Dad, bankers are calling me about a covenant waiver. You'll fix the deck. You always did. Me, I don't work for the company. Dad, stop being petty. Liam, bro, we can still be cool. Think advisory. Retainer word. Not a lot, but something. Optics. Me, no. Mom, you are breaking your father's heart. Me, he fired me. Mom, you forced his hand. Me, by asking not to co-sign debt. Scene. No reply. I took meetings. It turns out, if you spend a decade keeping a leaky boat afloat, recruiters notice when you finally jump ship. I dialed into calls from my kitchen table with a thrift store lamp and the good shirt I didn't give to Liam for a pitch vibe. I spoke plainly. I like fixing messy operations with bad data. People nodded. I started therapy. First session, I said, I think I'm addicted to being useful because it was the only way to be loved. My therapist didn't flinch. She said, let's make usefulness a choice instead of a contract you never signed. I wrote that down and underlined it twice. The Harbor and Hearth plan became a second job for a month. Not spending it, understanding it. I set up alerts. I separated accounts. I made a binder with tabs, spin-off A, spin-off B, dividend history, cost basis, tax. I built my own rules. No sudden moves. No Instagram boats. No announcing numbers to anyone who didn't need them. I made one purchase, a heavy lock for my front door, because sleep only comes when your body believes you. That's when the second wave hit. Money makes people honest by accident. A cousin I hadn't heard from in 2 years texted me, just checking in, then asked if I knew anything about crypto taxes. An aunt sent a GoFundMe for her dog's surgery and CC Mom. Mom forwarded it to me with "You've always been generous." A contractor Liam once stiffed found my LinkedIn and asked me to put in a good word so the family can pay their obligations. I sent him the email for the new regional manager and wished him luck. Then Dad called at midnight. He only calls that late when he wants something he knows I won't want to give. Fine, he said by way of hello. We'll do payroll on the Amex float, but you will write the bank deck in the morning. I won't, I said. You're still on the hook, he said. Your name is in places. Not anymore, I said. I checked. Silence. Then, you think you're better than us because you have a nest egg. I let the word hang. No, I think I finally have oxygen. You owe your family, he said. I owe myself a life, I said, and I meant it for the first time. The next day, a former assistant manager from store number 3 messaged me. Sorry to bother you, she wrote. They cut my hours when I had a doctor's note. You were the only one who enforced policy. Thank you. I stared at that line for a long time. It felt like a blessing I didn't know I needed. Bad news traveled faster at HQ. A vendor paused shipments until invoices got current. Liam called me 6 times in a row. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail that slid from charm to threat in under a minute. We're family, man. Be a goldfish and forget. Don't make me make this uglier. In therapy, I practiced new sentences with my mouth until they felt real. No, that doesn't work for me. I'll think about it and get back to you. I used them in the wild. The world didn't end. People adjusted. It felt like discovering a hidden door in a house I'd lived in for years. I got a job offer. Clean company. Boring on purpose. Finance team without a hero complex. The title wasn't flashy, but the boundaries were. I read the vacation policy twice and cried a little. I accepted. I wrote to my future boss. I will work hard during working hours and not rescue things you break on purpose. He wrote back, same. With a salary in view and a runway I'd earned by a 14-year-old version of me I wanted a hug, I moved apartments. Sunlight. A door that shuts. A second-hand couch that doesn't sag. I hung nothing on the walls for a week because I enjoyed the blank. Mom tried one last angle. We're having a family dinner, she texted. No talking business. Just food. We miss you. I went because I wanted to test whether I could sit at their table without shrinking. They started immediately. So what are you doing with your time? Dad asked. Working, I said. Liam smirked. Where? I haven't heard a peep. You hiding? I'm living, I said, and sipped water. Mom leaned in like a friend sharing gossip. I heard you came into some money. She paused, searching my face. We should talk by ourselves later. Your father has an opportunity. You could help the family double, maybe triple. I put my fork down. No, I said. Calm. Simple. Her smile went tight. Why are you punishing us? I'm not, I said. I'm protecting me. Dad scoffed. We made you. I made me, I said, with your last name and my labor. Liam laughed. He thinks he's a monk now. I stood. I think I'm done, I said. I hugged my grandmother, kissed her cheek, and left my plate on the table. In the parking lot, I waited for the old guilt to rise like a tide and pull me back inside. It didn't. It ebbed. I drove home with the windows down. There were cracks in the empire. You could see them from the street now. A help wanted sign that never came down. A banner that read grand reopening for 6 months because no one paid to reprint it. Customers posting photos of empty shelves and taglines about shop small that sounded like begging. I didn't gloat. I didn't send the links to Dad. I let it be what it was, their responsibility. One afternoon, after signing W-4s and setting up my new laptop, I walked to a neighborhood coffee shop. The barista spelled Sean on my cup. I didn't correct her. I sat by the window and read a book for 30 minutes. I'd forgotten how to do nothing without the sensation of drowning. It felt like learning to breathe through my nose again. A week later, I got a text from an unknown number. You don't know me. I'm Liam's friend from high school. He told us you were always intense. Just wanted you to know, that thing you did? Saying no? I wish I'd said it to my dad sooner. I'm trying now. I stared at the screen and thought about how boundaries are contagious the way laughter is. It felt like another small blessing. I didn't wake up one morning healed. I learned to make peace in small transactions. I bought good socks. I answered emails during business hours and let the red badges sit overnight without chewing my nails. I kept the Harbor and Hearth binder on a shelf and opened it once a month, not 10 times a day. I treated it like what it was, a tool, not a personality. The biggest change was quiet, not silent. The city still honked and the upstairs neighbor still dropped bowling balls at 11 p.m., but quiet in my head. The family chat still exists. I keep it muted. Mom still posts photos captioned, "So proud of our boys," at events I'm not invited to. Dad still uses the word legacy like a coupon he can apply anywhere. Liam still lives in the shallow end and calls it the ocean. None of that requires my reaction. Sometimes I think about the 13-year-old me walking into that bank with $200 and a smile like a new driver. I didn't know that a quiet plan had been attached to my name without my consent. I could frame that as manipulation, and some days I do. But I also choose another truth. The teenage me set something in motion when he refused to spend his little bit of money on a loud pair of shoes and tucked it into a boring account. He protected future me when nobody else would. I don't owe anyone credit for that. Last week, Dad called. 3 rings. Voicemail. He left a message in his careful tone. We're restructuring. If you have time to consult, he paused. Family should stick together. He didn't ask how I was. He didn't say he was sorry. I didn't expect him to. I saved the voicemail to a folder called Things I Don't Need to Fix. I went to the bank yesterday to change my address. Same branch. New teller. She asked, anything else today? I looked at the lobby poster about futures and smiled. No, I said. I'm good. And I meant it. On the walk home, I passed a kid selling lemonade with a hand-drawn sign. 50 cents. I bought 2 cups. He said, my dad says I'm a natural businessman. I said, tell your dad you're a hard worker. The rest is marketing. He laughed because he didn't get it yet. He will. People like tidy endings where the villain falls into a fountain in a white suit. That's not what happened. The stores will limp along. Liam will post motivational quotes with typos. Mom will stage photos. Dad will confuse fear with discipline. That's their loop. Mine is different now. I work. I rest. I take walks without checking inventory in every window. I spend money on things that make my shoulders drop. I keep a small emergency fund taped inside a book because it makes 13-year-old me feel safe. I call my therapist before I call anyone who wants me to shrink. If you need a moral, it's this. I'm not a bank. I'm not a rescue plan. I'm not a story told at family dinners to make the golden child shine brighter. I am a person with a spine and a calendar, and both have limits. I won't be used, I said out loud in my kitchen last night, just to hear how it sounded. It sounded like a door locking. It sounded like a window opening. And for the first time in 10 years, I slept through the night.